Reasons shift back to results, and results shift back to reason. The tides ebb and they flow. Nature displays the above, also below. Some things are learned, young man. Yes, some things can be inherited. Also know that some things are simply inherent. Tools used to unearth have also been used to bury. Weeping has endured long enough. Now awake to your shining glory. Full awareness, not just in this or in that, but a discernment of the gradient. As many as are led, they are. You see it in their radiance. Those who drink from the fountain of life will never again thirst. The cycles of destiny have brought us here, and now the last shall be first. And now the last shall be first. And now the last shall be first. The season. This is the season. This is the season. This is the season.
Hey, you guys, you know what it is. It's that time again. It's that time again. Hey, welcome, welcome, welcome to Passion to Profits TV. My name is Dwayne-Ross. I am the host of Passion to Profits TV, also the author of the book No More Crumbs from the Table, celebrating you, discovering your tag, your talent, your ability, your gift, and putting it to work in the earth. And as always, I always want to encourage you to dig into that thing that you have on the inside of you, find that passion, and then figure out a way to make a profit with it. Because once you figure that out, you'll never work another day in your life. You get to do the thing that you love and love to do the thing that you do. Right? You do, you love, you do. It's really kind of cool to do what you love and love what you do. So I want to say, hey, you can make a profit. You have to figure it out. But my goal as a dream coach is to help you get that together, how to figure that thing out and make it happen. But as you know, I had a daughter. My daughter has been singing since she was 2 years old. And every time that I start the show, I start off with her song, You Win. And it was similar to what I'm saying to you because, see, she had to cultivate that thing. She had to cultivate that voice. And then she put it to work in the earth and she created this single. She's out there and it's going all over the place. But I want to introduce you to my daughter, bring her on back in. And you guys, I want you to hear You Win. So check it out right there, anywhere that you can find music. And it's going to be here on YouTube. You Win.
Yes, the story of your life still unfolds. Right now, you don't understand how you fit into his plan. Though it seems you lost, you win. Whoa, yeah. You made a decision. What's the point of living at all? Feel like I can answer you. Something deep inside you saying that you can make it through. You're stronger than you'll ever know. Troubles from yesterday only come to test your faith. The darkest part of night is just before the day. Oh, everything that you've prayed for is waiting for you through that door. Because victory was in the plan before. See, the night is over and you're growing stronger. Time for you to smile now. Look into the sky now. Felt like you were all alone. God was with you all along. You were stronger than you ever knew. Celebrate a brighter day. Now that you can find your way. When it seems you lost, you win. When it seems you lost, you win. Oh, though it seems you lost, know that you're gonna make it. Know that you're gonna make it. Know that you're gonna make it. Hard trials, confusion, that is faithful through our trials, confusion, that is faithful. No matter what you're going through, God will see it through.
What is going on? I hope you enjoyed that intro. And if you didn't start at the beginning, you may have missed it. But I had a young lady that was there talking about poetry. She was speaking that word. She was giving some what you call verbal libation, right? It's like that water that just waters the soul. Have you ever had that situation where you have these words come together and you're just like, how do I how do I write this down? How do I put this in a place where other people can actually take advantage of it? Maybe you write poetry and you've been writing on napkins and you've been writing on t-shirts and you've been writing on the stuff that you stuff in your Bible. You've been writing on all kind of different papers here and there, and you've thought about taking those writings and actually collecting them together and putting them in a place where people can enjoy it and actually take them on a journey with your words. Well, today I have someone who did that. They took the words that were in their life, the things that they saw, the things that they were going through, and put it all together in a way of a collection, and then took that collection and put it in a space to allow you to participate. Now, I'm going to share a lot, but I would be remiss if I tried to tell you everything about this person and then bring the person in. So I'm going to bring in our guest tonight, Miss Lakesha Lampkin, who is, she's ready to tell you some information that's going to help you actually not only talk about her journey, but talk about the journey of an author. She's an author, she's a speaker, she's a CEO. She actually has a Facebook group, and you saw that in the beginning, where you can actually hear what she does on her podcast. And so I'm going to ask her to come on in. Lakeisha, I'm looking forward to hearing you. If you could pull your thing down just a little, yeah, there we go, so we can see your face. Move it over to the left a little bit, to the right. There you go, to the left a little bit more. There we go. We're trying to see that smile. We're trying to see the smile. Now I know it looks different when it's just you, but when it's both of us, we got to split the screen. So come on over a little bit. There we go. There we go. Get your head, bring the head down here. There you go, right there. So you guys, I want you to come on this journey with Miss Lakeisha. She is on fire for the work that she does in the earth. She found a way to take her passion for words and smith them together in a way that takes your heart, your soul, and your body on a journey. And if you heard earlier, you heard them, it was very soul inspired. So Lakeisha, talk to us. Tell us, number one, what's going on? Your microphone, you're going to unmute your mic. Let me see if I got you. I got you. Unmute.
Okay,
There
okay.
we
Can you
go.
hear me
There we go.
okay?
I hear you great. Our sound check went well earlier, so I think we good. And now
Yeah,
we see we got a nice full face there. Talk
yeah.
to us, lady. Who are you, and why should people be checking out your book?
Well, I hail from the south side of Chicago.
Wait. Isn't that a song? On the south side of Chicago. Okay, there you go. just making sure.
By way of the ATL, I've been in Atlanta for over 20 years now, and I've been writing forever. As long as I could read and write, I've been writing poetry. It's been my outlet and my therapist. Absolutely.
So you started writing, and was it therapeutic? What was it about writing that actually, captured your attention? Because you said you've been writing for some time, so I'm sure you, like me, you got like a box full of journals and stuff. So
I
talk about
have journals and notebooks everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. Yeah. It's definitely therapeutic, cathartic. It's all of that. If I need to get something off my chest, I can do it in my journal. I can do it through poetry. I can do it through journaling. It's what I do.
And so most people think they have to be prolific in order to make an impact with their words. Can you talk about, poetry it comes from the soul. So talk about how that
Poor
works.
Absolutely. Poetry comes from the soul. If you are speaking from your heart, somebody is going to feel it. Somebody somewhere is going to feel what you're talking about if you're coming from the heart, because we're all connected. That's it's one of those things. It's just universal, and it's one of those things that just connects us. Your story, we all go through trials and tribulations, joy and pain, and to share that from your heart, it connects you to people who can relate.
Well, that's pretty powerful right there because, again, when people are looking for a connection, when they're looking for a connection, there's sometimes they get afraid to share their heart. They think that I'm gonna be vulnerable, but I
I've been
think that
there.
yeah, to do the work that you're doing,
I've been
vulnerability
there. It took
comes
a
with it.
while to actually get over that hump, to allow myself to be so vulnerable. Like, yeah, it's major. I remember So I'll tell you the story of how the book came to be, because I was just writing just because that's what I do. That's how I help myself to process things.
Hmm.
And I lost my notebook one day, and my sister, I was all in a panic, frantic. I looking everywhere, couldn't find my notebook. It was trouble. And so eventually I found it later that night. And my sister said, why don't you type that stuff up and save it so if anything does happen, it's not lost. I said, you know what? You're right. That's a good idea. So day by day, I just started typing it up little by little. And the more I typed, I was like, this is a book. And so the rest is history. I published it on Amazon, and it has taken on a life of its own, and I'm happy. But what happened was that very first manuscript, before I did anything with it on Amazon, I was working in a call center, and one of my coworkers, I shared my manuscript with him, and so in between calls, he was reading back and forth, and I guess after the day, before the end of the day, he got through to the end of it, and he came and brought it to me, and he said, this is a lot of personal information. You're sharing a lot of personal stories. I said, I know, right? He said, yeah, you sure you want to put this out there? And I did. I have to admit, I did think twice about it and considered some things. And there was one edit made. I did take one thing out. But that's about it. I went forward and I said, you know what? I'm going to put it out there because that's what people are going to connect with.
Yeah, well, that's the whole idea of being vulnerable and telling your truth is because if you don't, then people don't see the authenticity of what you do. And I think
Absolutely.
that part of being a poet, a songwriter, they say the worst songwriter never gets done, never gets anything done. But the one that's gone through the worst situation and knows how to capture it in words, they make hits.
Right.
And it's interesting because recently I was following the life of Sam Cooke, and
Mm.
I didn't realize how many hits this man wrote in like this many days, right? I mean, he wrote like 40 hits in less than like 3 to 4 years.
Wow.
And
Yeah,
it
that's a
was
lot.
so powerful. And so it was so powerful because you think they were number one hits,
Major,
major hits, right?
major hits.
I mean,
Right.
he hit the charts, and next thing you know, he took Elvis out. He
Yes.
took he took people that was like, hold up, who's this little
Up
dude?
there.
you know,
Yes.
but he was writing to the heart of people,
That's
right?
it.
And so you
That
think
part.
about Maya Angelou. People remember her poetry because
I
what she
love
had
Maya
to
Angelou.
say,
Yes.
it resonates in the soul. So talk about your cathartic way of writing and how you get to the heart of the matter. How do you get deeper? And then we're going to talk about some of the stuff that you did along your journey that you had the right to get it out of your soul. Because sometimes we have to cleanse ourselves by getting
Yes.
it out on
Yes.
paper. So talk about that.
So my process, it just depends. Sometimes I just go at it. I say, you know what, I'm going to write a poem. Sometimes it's just inspiration will hit, like something. I'll see a movie or hear a new song, or it could be the smallest little thing that'll send me down this train of thought, and off I go in my notebook. But if it's like some really heavy stuff, especially if it's something heavy, and I'm just, kind of, how your thoughts kind of get scattered sometimes, and you just keep thinking the same thoughts. It's like you need to get out of your head.
Hmm.
That's how I get out of my head and get out of that stuck place. This is just like, okay, what do I do? So I write down pretty much how I'm feeling, and you can get pretty creative, Uh, um, a table doesn't have to be a table. You can, with poetry, you can make it be whatever you want it to be. So you can kind of play around with the
Ooh.
words,
I told you I had a
metaphors, and
Yeah, I had to slow you down on that one. I had to slow you down on that one. Because in my class, I tell people, I teach the point that anything could become a story. Any single thing that
Yes.
exists, as well as something that doesn't exist, right? Or something that people are kind of
Yes.
wondering if it exists, right? Wind.
Mm-hmm.
The wind could be the big story between the storm, right?
Right.
There was a movie that was out. It was called The Fog, right? Because the fog carried.
Yes. That's a good one.
So, and in Misery, it was the typewriter, right? It was
Mm,
the writer and the typewriter,
yeah.
right? So go deeper. You got this thought in your head. You got this feeling in your heart. You have this experience that you had when you read this article or you saw this vision on television or maybe in the news. Take us through, what does Lakeisha Lampkin do to bring that to life on the page of the paper?
I'm going to read something that's coming to mind really strong because it was inspired you remember that movie, For Colored Girls?
Oh yeah, who's
I never got a chance to see the play, but I did see the movie.
hmm
And when I walked out of I'm looking for it in my book now. Um, I never saw the play, but the movie was so inspiring to me. Of course, the movie has a lot of poetry in it, but just the trauma of some of the women and the friendships and that line about somebody almost stole my stuff or somebody almost took my stuff. I don't know. That just really resonated with me because so many times we can give ourselves away
mm,
in ways that maybe we shouldn't, that don't benefit us. And so, honestly, what happened when I left the theater, it was an interesting experience. I think I went to see that movie by myself. Did I go by myself? It might have been one person with me, but I didn't have my notebook. Normally I have a notebook with me. I didn't have my notebook. So this poem was just pouring out of me. I was like writing on envelopes, sitting in the car writing on envelopes and yeah, it was like that. So sometimes it's an emotional thing where I'm just writing what I'm feeling and that's definitely what it was in that case.
that's another powerful. I call them platinum nuggets that people need to remember. Because when I teach my class, the Write Your Story course, I teach it that you write when you're inspired in spirit. Is when
Yes.
your soul, your spirit, your body is all connecting on this one thought. And a lot of times that's 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. But what you just said, it was when you had only an envelope and a pen, right?
Yes.
And it was like, listen, I gotta
I
write
had to
this
get it
down
out
right now,
right
right
now.
now. And so I want to talk to you guys out there. The urgency of a writer is very interesting because you never know when that moment's going to come where you get
No.
that inspiration. You don't know when that feeling's going to come where it might be a heaviness and you need to get that heaviness off.
Yeah,
And so I want to
definitely.
encourage you to hear what Lakeisha's saying. When it comes, write it. Get it down on paper because you think you can remember. You think you're going to get back to it. And I'm telling you that the most potent information comes in those moments. So take the time and write it down. Get it out of your soul.
Get
I
it
got
out
a
of your
book right
soul.
here. I was just thinking about you coming on the show, and I have another. I got a whole bunch of these, but I was looking through like all of these pages of just stuff that my life has said, "Hey, what you been through?"
Oh
And I'm
yeah.
thinking I probably could pick a page out of here and write a book just on that one.
I'm sure you got a few nuggets, a collection. Okay.
So you decided to go down the road of poetry versus writing a novel or writing a dissertation or writing, what was it? I mean, because I mean, in a way, to me, it's also like India Arie, right? India Arie wrote songs from her poetry. So did Jill Scott. Jill Scott
Yes.
had all these poetry pieces, and she decided to put some music to it. And somebody was like, "Yo, this is gonna be hot," right?
Yes.
So tell me
Yes.
about if is that something that you aspire? Because I mean, you're a writer, you're also a CEO. We didn't get to that yet because I want to unveil that.
I have a
But talk
funny
about this thing.
I have a funny story about that because wow, you just sparked a bunch of memories. I used to play around in the studio with some cats around in Chicago who were rapping, and so I used to sing on hooks, and I wrote a few people's hooks, a few local people, and that was like a whole phase of my life that I almost forgot about. It was a short phase. I was experimenting and mixing it up. It's because one of my homeboy, they were at the house and I was cleaning up and I was just in my normal mode singing and he heard me sing and he's like one of the really that's my boy Jay. He's a real excitable type. So when he heard my voice, he was like, hold on, you been holding back. And that's how that got started. I ended up in the studio with them. So I definitely plan to do a spoken word album. And I'll probably do a little bit of singing on there too.
Uh-oh.
That's definitely in the works.
Well, you're talking to a vocalist right here as
All
well.
right.
That's why my daughter, she's following. I was in a group years ago called FCC Funky Cold Concept. We just knew we was going to take over the world,
Okay.
and we were on stage with Sounds of Blackness and a couple other people,
Nice.
and it was funny because we went to Arista Records, right, and we was in there thinking, okay, this is it. We about to do this, and then something happened where they didn't want to offer the whole group a contract. They really only wanted to give me a contract at the time, and I was lead vocal. But I remember how I felt about being in the studio creating.
Oh, that's an
Talk to us
amazing.
about that right there.
Okay. The best way, look, let me just take you to the scene from Hustle and Flow when they were making that beat. I know you know what scene I'm talking about. The feeling from that scene right there, the energy when he was making that beat from scratch. Ah, man, I'm talking about I was there with them. I know that it's a feeling, it's that inspiration in spirit, you know? It's exactly what it is. It's a feeling, it's a vibe.
So you wake up in the middle of the night, you wake up in the day, you stop and you pull over. I mean, you keep a journal around you. I mean, how do you make sure that you're prepared? So tell people, how it is that you prepared, and then let's step back and talk about the journey. Like, where did you like? What was if it was a deep story that got you started, something cathartic that you had to get out? I mean, let's talk about that. But how do you prepare yourself as a writer because you never know when an in spirit moment's going to show up?
So teenage love. Ah, teenage love. That is what sparked it and made it keep going. Um, my first love, back in high school, I went to Hyde Park Career Academy in Chicago. My first love, we used to write poetry back and forth to each other. And then we broke up, and it was a whole bunch of, teenage stuff. And I was heartbroken, my first heartbreak. And that, actually, some of the poetry in my book is from that time.
That's interesting because there's a scene in the Five Heartbeats where he says to him, "You haven't had your heart broken yet.
Mm,
You haven't had enough pain." And it's
mm,
interesting that people write out of pain. But I just shared a quote just yesterday. I'm in an ontological coaching program, and we talk about, and I'm going to talk to you about your coaching too, where pain births light. A lot of times, that's where the light is. It's like if I can dig into this pain, I can find life, and if I can find life in the pain, it can bring brightness and light to others. Because
yeah.
we're not here for ourselves, right?
We're not here for ourselves. And you know what's popping up in my mind right now as you speak is as As iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. And when somebody rubs you the wrong way, it doesn't feel good, but it's usually an opportunity for growth.
Say that again.
When someone rubs you the wrong way, it doesn't feel good usually, but it's usually an opportunity for growth. It's usually showing you something about yourself. It's
Well,
never
that
about the other person.
and that's the part. That's the thing. Like all of what you go through, sometimes you're like in it, and you can't see like how it's going to impact others. But think about our history, right? When we're in Black History Month right now, and a lot of us we get the 5, 7, 8, 10 people that they teach us about all the time. But
Hmm.
every one of them, there was a moment where they were like, you know what, this is painful. I got to do something. Or this is painful for my people. I got to do something. Or this is terrible that I'm going through. And then they do something and everybody goes, wow, let me do that too. So let's talk about your journey because there was some dark times. There was some heaviness.
Oh wow, yeah, there was
And,
plenty of that.
I know I said, hey, let me know if I go too deep. I don't want to go, but I need people to see. I want them to connect to all of the pieces, right? It's body, soul, spirit. It's everything. It's not just the one domain. It's not just your mind.
Right,
Sometimes when you write to the heart. Sometimes you write to the body. Sometimes you write just for the language, right? You just write so people can hear your
right.
voice, and you do what you can to not lose your voice and still be marketable. And so, talk to us about your journey when you had to go deep, and there was something in there that you wrote about where it was a lot of pain, it was a lot of like anguish, and you like you went back and forth on whether or not you should put it in a book.
Wow. I went through a lot of turmoil in my 20s due to um, family secrets and deception. And I was like 22 years old, and it rocked my whole world. That experience. Have you ever been lied on?
Have you ever been lied on, cheated, mistreated?
Cheated,
Yes, all of
mistreated.
that. You find out you're not my daddy. What? Who are you?
What? Okay.
But yeah, I
Yes,
have, and we all have. I
we
mean,
all have.
we still getting cheated and lied on all these
Hmm.
centuries later, right? So
Right.
you found out something that was heavy that was going on in your family,
Yeah.
and you didn't have a place to put it. You're like, okay, what do I do with this? So you decided
What
to,
do I do with this? I just wrote it in my notebook because it's
okay.
years later when the book came out. Some of these poems are from my teenage years, um, leading up to now, pretty much. Yeah.
Well, that's interesting that you said that. And I want to take a ride on that because
Hmm.
I get students and they say, well, I don't have anything relevant. And I'm like, well, your life is relevant, right? You just said that some of this stuff is from my teenage year, and here you are, years later. Not
Yeah.
many, many, many years,
I know.
at least 15 years later,
At least, at least.
at least, right? Where you was like, I got to get this out, and this could help people, and it also just helped me. Because I heard the best book you could ever write is the one book you write for yourself,
Wow, that's
especially
good
when
stuff.
it's transformational fiction. It's transformational words.
And I
So
did not realize how transformational it was. Like, it's definitely inspired because I'll tell you, most of the poems are in chronological order. So when you read it, you can really see my growth. I didn't realize how much I was going through. Like, I had to go through and read my own book, and I'm like, wow. It really gave me a full picture of a clearer picture, I should say. Um, and just being able to self reflect and see, like, man, I've come through some stuff, man.
Right. And I wrote earlier, you gotta, pick up the fragments and then execute them in writing. A lot of times we don't think about the fragments of our life. We just think about the broken picture, right?
Yeah.
We think about the glass that's broken, but we don't think how can we take this and make a mosaic out of it.
Right. And you'll be amazed because you begin to see and grow in different awarenesses. You'll begin to see how all the pieces fit together and how your path lines up. And if you're not in tune with your purpose, I would definitely suggest going through your life and reflecting on those things, because a lot of times, a lot of missing pieces, you'll find missing pieces to the puzzle and be able to get right on your path, right
Yes.
in the
Yeah.
middle of your purpose.
Right. And I always say you speak with passion, power, and purpose. Those are the three P's that I use when I'm doing a presentation. Translating it to this virtual world, I still say the same thing,
Yeah.
you know. But you had this moment where you were like, wow, I've been lied to. This
Light
truth is a
on.
little bit lied on, lied on. This truth is a little bit heavy. I'm going to put it in a book. Did you have a problem when you thought about like who's going to read it next, or did you want to like I'm just putting it out there and hey they should have they should have been nice. What was your how did you work through that? Because a lot of writers struggle with biographical issues that are
Well,
really
that's
true,
the
and they don't
that's
want to
the
like say look what Uncle Bobby did or look what
right.
cousin Sally did. So
And
tell
that's
us
the
about that.
beautiful thing about poetry, because you can kind of hide it in the words. Like, you don't have to be so direct. You can do it in a way that you can get it out. And if that other person reads it, they'll know what you're talking about. But everybody is going to have their own perception of what it means, because, one thing can represent another thing in poetry. So there's ways around that in poetry.
That's interesting too, because you said that earlier. So tell us about like something that you gave life to that wasn't life at all, but it was a character in the story. Do you have one of those?
Hmm. Oh, I do. I got some. Let's see. Well, kind of in the title, and it fits what we're talking about. So I'm gonna read "Fountain Overflowing," and this actually for Colored Girls inspired two poems, and this is the second one that it inspired. So it's called "Fountain Overflowing." So when you think of a fountain, what do you think of? And then I come in like this: tears only flow from my eyes because I am full. Don't call me crybaby. I am a fountain overflowing, filled with emotion, joy, and sadness. I've been beaten, kicked, raped, and scarred, molested, hurt, laughed at, hated, lied to, tied down, broken down, and cheated on. I've been lifted up, built up, smiled at, forgiven, loved, liked, hugged, kissed, missed, been given gifts, adored, been fed, clothed, washed, healed, stroked, rubbed, admired, been told the truth, encouraged, taught, and comforted. My feelings let me know that I am alive. Don't judge me because I have the ability to feel. Do what you like. Just know that I am fearfully and wonderfully made, gifted in the art of sensing. I sense and feel, therefore I am. I am free to feel what I feel, experiencing and expressing my feelings without letting them control me. I live fully with an amazing capacity to feel, even after all I've been through. So don't call me crybaby. Tears only flow from my eyes because I am full. I am a fountain overflowing.
Now I don't have no. How do you do it? Y'all need to. I need some snaps, y'all. I need some snaps.
Give us a snap, Joe.
I actually heard the doom 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 in the background. The doom
Oh,
doom
nice.
doom. That bass. You need a real drop down bass going on with that right there.
Yes, yes.
But you know what I heard, and I want. I don't know. I gotta say this because this was you, right? That was you. Was that a personification of you or something else? Because
That
I
was
got a
a
thought in my mind.
personification after I saw For Color Girls. But I'm in there too.
Yeah. See, here's what I heard: Africa and the birth of its
Oh,
people.
wow. Yes.
I heard the birth of its people and the rebirth of its people.
Yes. And the rebirth.
Coming to the
Absolutely.
place of understanding that I am loved. You know, I have worth,
Yes.
but I have gone through all that other stuff, being
Yep.
lied on, battered, taken
Beaten,
down,
broken
being
down.
broken down, all those different things. But here I am,
But here I am.
us
Here
in
we
this
are.
nation. We're still
Yes.
here in this nation, right?
Still here.
And people they really get to me sometime when they say, "Why don't you go back where you came from?" I'm like, "Where did you come from?"
Right. Where
First
did
of
you
all,
come from? Do you know
let's
where you
ask that
came from?
question. Where your grandma and them from? Because they probably came over a boat when they said, "Everybody come on over with the people in of America." But
Thank you.
anyway, the beauty of that, I can feel a lot in that right there. So that is that your because that's the name of your company, right? That's the name of your company.
Yeah, Fountain Overflow LLC is the name of my company.
Yeah.
Yes.
So here's your signature fountain overflowing. I am a fountain. And here's what's cool about a fountain that, it's just speaking
Yes.
to my heart.
Yes.
It's watering, right? It's
Yes.
bringing life.
Yes.
It's constantly bringing life. It's giving. A
That
fountain
part.
nourishes. A fountain
Fountain of life.
gives, right? Without even
Hmm.
like nothing back. It doesn't go back and forth. It just
Nope.
flow. It
It just
flows.
flows. It just
Let's
flows.
see. So that was a gift that you just gave to everybody listening and anybody that listens to the replay, and definitely to me, because
Thank
I just felt it in my soul. I
you. Yes.
felt those words, especially when you transition from the pain to the other side of light.
Yes.
People get stuck on whether they are good enough,
Mm.
qualified,
Hmm.
enough, period, when it comes to writing. They think they have to go through some kind of thing, right?
Right.
And so, talk to us about how you grappled with that, if you did, how you decided, I'm putting this in paper, I'm gonna go ahead and put this on Amazon, and I'm gonna let the universe and let God and everything else that's connected to it take it from there.
I guess, these poems have been around, most of them have been around for many years. And I've shared them with friends and family, and I've shared them with strangers. And some of my poetry, I do think it's corny. I won't lie. Not much, not much. I used to, let's say that. In the past, I used to. Um, and also the feedback that I've gotten through the years has really has really warmed my heart because I can tell that people are connecting to it, and that's what's important. If I connect with one person with my poetry, I'm of course I want to connect with more than that, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing: you can't be everything to everybody,
You can't.
but you can be everything for one body.
Yes.
Because that one body could be a Rosa Parks, that one body could be a Martin Luther King, that one body could be, and you fill in the blank, a Lakeisha Lampkin, right?
Yep.
And so the inspiration comes for that. The other side of that is this: as you give that out into to the world as a gift, right? You inspire other young girls who were going through what you were going through, who's been lied on, lied to, lied about, taken advantage of, molested, uh, and in some cases on the brink of murder because of how they've been treated
Yeah.
by people they're supposed to love or supposed to love them,
Yeah. Right.
right? So it's healing involved in this.
Yes.
And
Absolutely.
I mean, just listening to one poem, and I hope you can do another one. I'd like you to pick another one and like
Sure.
give us another one. But the interesting thing to me is that one poem that you just stated could be an entire course
Mm.
where people could sit down and go, yeah, I've been through that. And you can take them as a coach, because you're a coach, through the darkness and help them
Mm.
see the light. And it may not be a tunnel. Some people say, "Oh, you got to see the light at the other end of the tunnel." Maybe I just need to
Right.
see the light in front of me.
Right.
Period. And it don't matter if it's a tunnel, a
Right. Just
building,
right. I
just
feel
some
you.
light. I just need
Yes.
to see
Just
some light.
give me some light. Yes.
Just give me some light. So that's pretty powerful. Do you have another one you can share with us that would
I do. Let's
resonate?
see. I'm just gonna pick a random one.
Okay, she's picking random ones, y'all. Randoms. just greatness all over the place.
Okay. So this one is on page 41. It's called "You Make Me Happy."
You make me happy. No, just sorry.
You make me happy. No. You make me happy. This much I know. You make me happy deep in my soul. No one in the world can do what you do. That's why I'm happy to be loved by you. I never get bored because you make all things new. Never get tired because my strength you renew. I never get scared. Fear is not from you. Whenever I get down, it's because I'm away from you. No one in the world can do what you do. That's why I'm happy to be loved by you.
I got a clap or something. I don't know what to do over here. I'm like, woo, 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 woo. All right, listen, girl. Listen, I don't know if I'm speaking in a prophetic way or whatever, but I just heard mahogany, Hallmark mahogany. He's like, hey, can we get that for one of our cards? Because
Hey,
I'm trying to tell you,
yes,
you are industry already inside yourself, right? It's like what Jay Z says, I'm a businessman. I am
I'm
a
a
business
business man.
man, right? I am the business, right? And right there, I just saw Tracy says snaps. Yeah,
Snap, yes,
yeah.
sis.
Okay, a smile to a door. You make me happy. I love this.
Yes, thank you.
And a smile to a door. You make me happy too. I just want to put that out there. Okay, so much.
Awesomeness.
What you
Three
say?
snaps in a
Awesomeness. Three
circle.
snaps and
Thank
a
you, Missy.
circle. Girl, you got us over here going, uh-oh, we about to start.
Hey,
You
watch out.
make me
Hey.
hey. So that's again that idea that you could take one thing, put it into the universe, put it into the world out here. Can't keep it to yourself and go to your grave with it. But that one, that poetry right there too, you make me happy. I just saw it on a card, just that quick. It's like
Mm.
to me, because I was looking
I'll
for a
write that
card the other
down.
day. I was looking for a card for a virtual Valentine's kind of thing. Because we're doing all this virtual stuff.
Yeah.
But I was looking for a card to say something, and it really didn't say what I really wanted to say. But I think cards like the words that you're speaking could be used for those kind of things. you know. So what are some of the industries that you're thinking of now that you've written a book, you produced it, you put it out on Amazon, and that's not an easy task. I mean, it's simple, but it's not easy. People get caught up in it. So you self-published, or did you go through a publishing company?
I actually self-published through
Okay.
Amazon. The first book was an ebook on Kindle, and then Amazon opened it up so you were able to do paperbacks,
Right.
which is basically print on demand.
Yep.
So, which is very convenient. And so now my focus has been marketing and getting the
Yep.
word out,
That's
because
that's
it's
why I saw you. I was in a group and I was scrolling through, and then I saw you had this new book out, and I was like, wait a minute, let me see what's going on. And there was a celebration of your book, talking about your journey. And it's interesting. I like how the title of your book about, because it already tells you there's more to come,
hmm
right? So talk about how you came up with the title, why you decided to self-publish regular, but versus look for a publishing company to do it for you and your royalties. So talk
I'm
about this.
I'm I'm always looking for a way to free myself, if you will. Um, Multiple streams of income. And so there was a guy I used to work with. Um, his name was Richard, and he told me about this woman when I was kind of showing people some of my writing at work. And he told me about this lady he knew or had heard of who self-published on Amazon, and she's now a multi-millionaire. And I was like, and he was like, yeah, and it was just a mediocre book. I was like, what?
Yeah, it was all in the marketing and promotion and how she propped it up.
Yeah.
She did a series. And I tell people in my class that when you get something good, you got to do a series. So and because of the way Amazon allows you to do ebooks, she
Yeah.
was able to give her a book away for like $2.99, a dollar
Yep.
50, and it put her up on the scale of what you call top sellers, right? Because she was
Okay.
selling a
She
lot.
was selling a lot.
They didn't know
Yeah.
that she was selling them for 99 cents and $2, right?
Right.
But she sold so many at 99 cents, it pushed her name up. And then she did this big old launch. She did her launch. I watched her YouTube video, and
Yeah.
because I teach this in my
Okay.
classes,
I'm
write your
getting
story
excited.
course, self-publishing. Yeah, write your story, self-publishing. If you got a story, you got to tell. You got to tell. You got to tell a story.
Yes.
One of my this is one of my children's books that came out after a
Awesome.
conversation. The young lady, her name is Amanda. She's going to be on the show the end of the month. She's coming back, but Amanda Goddard is what she writes under, but that's not her real name. But she was having a challenge with her son not understanding grandma walking around with a tank. So she started this book, this story about her son understanding Nana's boo boo. Like what happened?
hmm
Well, she had to have surgery. So what you're doing is you put it out there in a space to Amazon, and now the real work begins because the
Yes.
promotion, the marketing, and all that stuff. You didn't get
Yes.
no royalty check that says here's $100,000, and now we're gonna sell 1 million of your book.
No.
That
Right.
didn't
It don't
that
work
didn't
like
happen. It was
that.
like here's your $2.99 copy, and you can sell it for twelve
There you
dollars,
go.
right?
Right.
Which is also cool because you don't have to worry about having all the equipment or nothing. You can just send it
Nothing.
there.
Yeah.
They print it out for you. You send it to your customer, right? They do all the
Yes.
fulfillment. You never have to pick up anything.
Perfect.
So that's what's the beauty for it. The other side is you did it as an ebook. A lot of people don't understand doing it as an ebook first or releasing an ebook with their paperback, which again puts you in all kind of places and spaces because you can send it as a digital download to thousands of people overnight as opposed to printing them out,
Yes.
mailing them, and sending it to them and costs for that. So tell us about how you plan to get your book out there. What are some of the things you're doing to let people know you exist? Because I found you and I was like, I got to have her on because I love the title. Talk about the title and then talk about what you plan to do for your journey to get your book out there.
Well, because of the way it came together, me losing my notebook and then just wanting to type everything up and save it digitally, I saw, I began to see my growth and I began to see the story. And I was like, ah, this is my journey. This is my journey. And that's how it kind of came about, this journey. And I was like, you know what? This is my journey, but it's not over. So I was like, this journey so far. And it's kind of a play on words too, because I've come so far, but I still have so far to go.
Awesome. I'm showing your Amazon page right now,
I
so
see
people can see
that.
that.
Awesome.
Right. So yeah. So uh, having a book out in the world is to me phenomenal. Period. I remember in 2004 when I first published my book, No More Crumbs from the Table, and it came as a result of doing all these conferences, and people kept saying, "Do you have a book? Do you have a book? Do you have a book?" And I was like,
Hmm.
"Nah, nah, nah, nah." And then this one guy was like, "Yo, let me tell you something, bro. I've been noticing all these people coming to talk to you. If you had a book to sell them, you would have made
You'd be
like a
so.
thousand to $1,500 at the end of your presentation." And I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, you would have made about $2,000 right here." I was like,
Ooh-wee.
"Okay, let me get this here book together."
Ah, look, my hands started tingling. Look.
Yeah, money coming to me now.
Money.
I'm playing. I'm playing. So you have this book out. You did it self-publishing, and you now realize, hey, I got this journey, but it's not over. So what's next for Lakeisha Lampkin, and how do people contact you?
So I am coaching now. I have found my passion
Hello? Oh no! Right at this moment, we're not hearing you. I heard you say you found your passion. Let's see. We're gonna see if she comes back. Hopefully she does. Add her back to the stream here. Lakeisha, we lost you. But I'm not gonna panic. I'm gonna do like Lucy did. I'm just gonna stay right here and continue. And she's gonna come back in somewhere. Her phone might have went out or something. We're not sure. But I know she's gonna be back, and we're gonna bring her back in. There she
maybe
is.
Maricopa, Arizona. I'm gonna go across the country. I have family everywhere. So we're setting that up, and I'm also promoting it on my podcast, Poetic Levitation. Having fun with that. I think you played a clip
I
from it at the
did.
beginning.
I did. I'm gonna play it
Awesome.
at the end
Yes,
too,
yes, yes,
on the
yes.
way out. I had one smile to the door asked, "Will you post that poem on your page? Do you have any of your poems posted on the page or the you know?"
I sure will. Yep,
Okay, cool.
I can post it.
All right, because that resonated with quite a few people, and again, so
Awesome.
much three snaps in a circle. I love that.
Snaps in a circle.
That we are coming to the end of the show, and I told you to go by fast, right?
Yes, so
People told me
fast.
when I started, it's like an hour show. Ain't nobody gonna watch no hour show, bro. You don't even know. They don't
You
even
don't
know
even
you. I
know.
was like,
Look, you can
I
get,
say,
yes.
I said that's all right. I'll have enough content, and I could go on another station, and then I could do like half and half. I could be like, Real Housewives or something, where I show just a little
Right.
bit, and a little bit, and a
A
little
little
bit, and a
bit
little
here, a
bit.
little bit there.
So I don't know. I'm open to whatever comes my way. I'm just gonna do the work. The how will show up, right? The how will
Yes,
show up. So
that's
you're
right.
welcome.
Just do the work.
You're welcome. So thank you. She's saying thank you for being able to put that on the website,
Oh, my
on your
pleasure.
page.
Yes.
And so I believe that there's more to come. You're talking about your coaching, and you had left for a little while. We didn't see you. You was just spinning.
I thought so. I thought I saw something going on here.
And I was like, okay, I'm gonna stay here because that happened to somebody else on the show, and I disappeared. And I was like, where did
Oh,
I go? I didn't even know I was gone. And they just waited. And it was so funny. She was like, "Are you in there, Ross? Where are you?"
where you at?
I was like, it was so cool because she's like, I don't see you. Where you go? So I decided to just hang out. I want to say it's been a pleasure having you on the show. Passion to
Thank you for
Profits is
having
all
me.
about, yeah, think you're welcome. It's all about helping people get an opportunity to present themselves out into, my community and other communities because, there'll be a link that you'll get and you can post it all over. They can see it. They're seeing it live on YouTube right now as well. And then in Passion to Profits TV, the page itself, it gets a viewership over 1,000. It's just that you can't see from here because I'm on
Right.
my regular page. But I will
Yeah.
say that we want to make sure they can get your book. So we'll get you put the link in with the show after it goes back on repeat. And how do they contact you? Do you have a website?
I do. You can actually go to fountainoverflow.com. That is my coaching website. However, there is a link at the bottom. I think we shared the Amazon link here. There's a link all the way at the bottom for my book bar. I also have money on there for my coaching services
Okay, well,
for anyone
cool.
who might be
And you
interested in coaching. Yeah.
and you coach them on writing? Do you coach them on the life issues that you've identified within your poetry? What do you coach on?
Well, I do general coaching and I do breakthrough coaching, which I can help in if you're having any major presenting problem in the area of career, health, or personal development. And more specifically, my absolute passion is to help aspiring artists and entrepreneurs to get in tune with the truth of their being and throw off all that external stuff and really shine.
Wow, that sounds like some Lisa Nichols type stuff.
Yeah.
Tracy said, "Thank you, Lakeisha, for sharing your story, and I'm encouraged." She's actually one of my students who is just publishing her first poetry book,
Awesome.
and she
Thank
was
you,
like, "I
Tracy.
gotta be there. I gotta be there." And I was like, "You should." I post this in live inside my Write Your Story course group as well, and then I use some of this stuff to let people know, hey, there's people out here are doing it themselves, and they're not afraid. They're unequivocally not afraid to go up against what's going on out there because the cool thing is you get your royalties, and if you
Yes.
can get this thing moving the way it's supposed to move, it can really really help out a lot of people. So
And
I want
that
to say thank you. Oh, go ahead.
I just want to add one more
Hmm.
thing.
Hmm.
In anything that you are trying to pursue, whatever your goal is, especially if you're an artist or an entrepreneur, know that the number one thing that you need is belief in yourself and confidence to know that you can, because there is greatness on the inside of each and every one of us. And that is my message through everything that I do, through my coaching, through my books, through my podcast. That is my core message. There is greatness in all of us. We just have to do the work to get it out.
Boom, drop the mic.
Boom.
All right, well, thank you so much. We'll talk to you next time. We want to probably bring you back and talk about coaching.
Awesome. I love to.
Because we're planning on a summit in a nonprofit summit. It's actually going to be for foster care. We're doing foster care shines. That's another. I sit on the board of foster care shines. I had
Okay.
the CEO on the show a while back, Miss P. Irene Jones, and we're planning on May 29th, I believe. It's the last Saturday in May. We're doing a summit, so maybe you might come and do some poetry and do some coaching as well.
I would love
And
to.
so I'll circle back. Wonderful story. Thank you for sharing, sis. So proud of you overcoming those barriers and also inspired. I need to hear this. All right.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you
Lakeisha,
for
this was
having me.
great. Thank you for sharing. Keep soaring.
Thank you. One
All
smile
right.
to adore.
And Tracy, again, thank you, Lakeisha, for sharing your story. I'm encouraged. And you
Thank
guys
you,
can find
Tracy.
her
That means
again
a
at
lot.
fountainoverflow.com. I said that right, correct?
Yes.
All right, fountainoverflow.com. Have a great night. I got to say goodbye to some people. but I don't say goodbye. I always say see ya or so long, because goodbyes are kind of like finite. So I'll see you. Thank you so
Never
much.
goodbye.
Hang
Always
out
see
in the
you
green.
later.
Hang out in the green room for a minute. I'll be back in a minute. All right, y'all. You heard it right there. That was my girl right there, Lakeisha Lampkin. Man, she's got her thing going. Y'all heard the poetry. All I would say is purchase the book. Go to Amazon, get it. I'm gonna go ahead and put the link to the Amazon book right here. I'm gonna copy that out and put it in the comment section. And of course, it will be also added in later on when it comes to being in the Facebook Live, so you can see it there as well. But as and always, I want to say thank you so much for everyone showing up, participating, supporting me, and making this day a great day. All right, I'll see you on the next page, the next post, the next YouTube video, or right here next Saturday, next live. I got a good one for you. I got a children's author that's coming back. I mean, coming down for the first time, full of power, very, very key in what's going on with our youth and youth development. And he and I started vibing on youth and youth development. And I was like, yo, you gonna bring the fire on this topic? We gonna have a good time. I think it's gonna be like 10 minutes and the show be over. Anyway, thank you very much. We'll see you. Take care. Be blessed.